This is the Paycheck to Daycheck Reselling Podcast.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley.
Together, we have been making money online collectively for over 10 years.
Our mission is to help you start, learn, and grow a reselling business and to inspire you to turn your paycheck into a daycheck.
The world is changing, and we want to help you change with it.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Paycheck to Daycheck podcast. Today, we are so excited because we have an amazing guest with us. This is Ronnie from Ronnie and the Flips. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you definitely should. When he posts all kinds of golden nuggets. And I like to think of him as this person who is like an expert eBay lister. I'm not exactly sure how he lists so much on eBay, but I'm really hoping that when we dive in today into the questions for him, that we can kind of pull out some of his little tips and secrets that he uses to list on eBay. If you could just take, a minute or so and give us a little introduction so our audience knows who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah, thank you. That was pretty kind. My name is Aron. Ronnie is some random nickname that buddies gave me. And I was like, well, I'm going to open up an Instagram account and kind of follow all these sellers and stuff. I was like, I don't really want anybody to know my name or even show my face out there. So just made a fake name and all that stuff. But yeah, Aron from Northern Michigan, a lot of hobbies. Other than that, really not much. Just eBay and small little family. I got my grandfather and my mother with me and, got into eBay to help support everybody. And other than that, that's about it.
Awesome. How did you get into eBay? What started the whole story and how long ago was that?
Okay. So yeah, it was 4 years ago. I used to own a smaller resort in Northern Michigan. It was 29 units, motel and cabins on the river. And, was in the family for 30 years. I came back from school and my grandma wasn't doing too well and my father passed away. So I had to come back home and kind of help out. And then pretty much ran that by myself for 10 years. And then our town is small. There's about 1,500 people, but it's a tourist town. So it can get up to 10,000 people in the summer. So we're always busy. And then the township, wanted to put a sewer system in, and that was going to cost us a couple $100,000. So we decided to, get out of the business and sell. I didn't know if I was going to move to Poland. I was going to move downstate, out west. We didn't know what was going to happen. So it wasn't really working. We were renting out a house, and my mom a place to stay, and then my grandfather and I together. And I realized, I'm spending way too much money. I need to start doing something here. I can't just sit around. I started looking in stocks and was trading. I did it for a long time, just growing up as a hobby and make more money and stuff like that. But then, I realized this isn't too safe either. I could blow up my account in one day. So I went to a thrift store just to grab a tennis racket for a buddy. And it was a nice Prince racket. And I was like, man, this is nice. And I always dabbled with eBay since I was a little kid. My dad would buy random things on there and then use them and sell them for more. And I was like, wow, that's insane. And so then I looked up the racket and it was used racket for $80. I was like, wow, you can actually make money doing this. So then I started looking at YouTube videos and growing from there. And it's been 2 years full-time now. And I started about 3.5 years ago, part-time.
Gotcha. Awesome. And are you full-time now then?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So last year was full-time. Because I was still doing it full-time, but I considered full-time where I was actually listing every day, shipping every day, working it every day. And then so last year and then this year. And I've had amazing growth the last 2 years. It's insane. Support 2 families pretty much right now and put a little money to the side.
Nice. So what kinds of items are you focused on right now? I know when we met originally, Liz and I met you in a leads group that we were all in. So at that point, I don't know about you, but we were both trying to do some online arbitrage and retail arbitrage and learn about that whole game. My background had been thrifting before that. So what are you doing now sourcing wise and what have you done in the past?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was everything seller. I was that guy in the store walking and looking at everything. If it looks old, I look it up. Clothing, toys, video games, even lamps, everything, anything I could find. My house started getting packed, and then doing the Amazon too of the leads group. I was getting, I started pushing that harder too. So I was getting 5-6 boxes going to my house every day. And my home's not that big, so the garage got packed. The upstairs rooms got packed, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I need to either get into a warehouse, something bigger, but that was kind of too much of a risk too because I was kind of beginning. So I decided to stop the Amazon and kind of niche down. 70% of the thrift stores are clothing. So I started looking more into clothing, and I was like, wow, I can buy this Ralph Lauren shirt for $2.50 and sell it for $15 or $14. And I was like, okay. So I started doing that more, and I niched down into clothing, and then I'll grab shoes every once in a while if they're higher end, but 95% of my store is clothing. And I'm about to hit 3,000 items this week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I do kind of miss the Amazon part because, it was fun. All I do is scan the stuff, throw it back in the box and ship it. But maybe in the future still, but I kind of I don't know. I don't hear much about it anymore, maybe because I don't pay attention anymore, but I think it's just going to get harder and harder.
Yeah, I think with Amazon, it's just feed the beast. You have to constantly be sending stuff in. I found for me personally with doing RA and OA, especially with like the leads, I felt like a lot of them for Amazon had just lower margins. So you had to sell more in order to see that profit, where with eBay, it's a lot easier because you're going to thrift stores, it's a lower buy cost, and then you can see bigger profits. So to me, that's kind of why we also shifted from, leads and OA, RA back to thrifting.
Yeah, the OA and RA, that was exhausting. I was like spend hours a day on my computer looking for stuff to buy. And then Northern Michigan, I have like Walmart, Marshalls, Home Goods, and that's about it. I had to drive, 2-3 hours to go find bigger box stores, and just running around scanning everything all the time. I was like, just to maybe find a couple items, and then it just wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, I totally get that. Depending on, where you live, where I grew up, where my parents still live, it's in the middle of nowhere, a really small farm town. And there was a Walmart there and a grocery store, and that was it. But, where I live now, there's, 5 Targets within, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes of each other, which is really beneficial if you're doing RA. So I think if you're in a place like that, if you want to get into like newer items, then maybe like looking into our online arbitrage if you're able to. But I think, you have to work with what you have depending on where you are and what's best for you in your business and what you have around you. Use those to your advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, I was comparing myself to everybody on Instagram and YouTube. I was like, man, why can't I do this? Why can't I find these items that these other people are finding? And then, they're living in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, all of the major cities. So they can hit 10, 15, Walmarts in one day if they want to. So I was like, I just got to use what's good in my area.
Yeah, exactly. I've always been wicked impressed by how much you're able to list and how quickly you're able to list these items. How many listings do you have currently up on eBay?
So I have 3, I'm going to hit 3,000 this week, and I'm doing 35 a day. If you get a good system going and consistency, it doesn't take too long. I can, ship 40, 50 items in an hour. I can list 35 in 2 hours. So, if I focus on it and I don't just, no distractions or anything, I can be done in 4 hours maybe. But I think why I can list items so fast because I buy a lot of the same items. I niche down a lot. So, when I come back from the stores, and I have 2 guys that are thrifting for me now too that live in Ohio and Texas. So I get stuff shipped to me. So a lot of button downs, a lot of sweaters, a lot of polos. So, when I get that stuff, I sort it through. So I'll put, especially if it's the same brand, if I get 10 Ralph Lauren button downs, all I got to do is change the title, the picture, the size, and that's about it. So, I'm usually done editing the item before the photos load. So you can just do it real quick. So that's the key. I think it's just niching down. And like I said, if I have most of the button downs, and those are easy, quick, they're light, you put them in a little bag, label it, throw it in a box, and that's it. And then pull it when you're, I have my SKU list. It goes by order. So from oldest to newest, I go, because I have 2 storage units now. So then I go in there, pick it, put it in the box, and the order it goes, and then throw in a poly bag, label, I'm done. So everything, I just try to take as many steps out of it and go as quick as possible and not make any mistakes.
You have, I'm assuming, like templates set up for these things, basically? No template.
No, I just sell off similar. If I have 10 button downs, I'll just search my store for Ralph Lauren button down, same size, create similar, and then add the photos, edit the title, and then whatever item specifics I need to do. And then I'll just do create similar off of that and then change the title every time. So, because a lot of them are all cotton, a lot of them are solid or striped or plaid or all the same styles. So it only takes a couple seconds to edit those items and then just create similar. So I'll take 10 items at a time, bag them, put the SKU number on there, put it away, and then grab 10 more items, so like 10 sweaters, and most of the sweaters are all knit or cotton, or they're all this, even colors. I'll even go by colors sometimes, get 10 red sweaters at a time, and then same style, and just go as quick as possible. So because I don't really like clothing too much either, so I don't so I just want to get it done as quick as possible.
That's awesome. Wow. All right. So are you listing mostly on your phone, or do you use a desktop? What do you think is the most efficient way?
Desktop for sure. I think the app is made more for buyers. I haven't used it in a while to list anything, because they put up a new update for eBay, and I don't like it as much. It seems more like the app, but it's a little bit slower, but it's not terrible. But I think the desktop is a lot faster. I have 2 monitors, so I'll throw the photos on one side and I can drag them over. Or because I don't really do a lot of research either, it helps a lot, because when you're selling the same stuff all the time, you already know the price. Because research is what kills you the most. It's if you want to find out the exact dollar what that item is, but I don't really care. I just want to move stuff as quick as possible.
Yeah, I think I lose personally a lot of time in the research phase, especially if I haven't sold something super similar before. I want to make sure that I'm not, undercutting other people, underselling, or pricing it too high. I don't want to hang on to it forever. So I feel like I get caught up a lot in the research myself, instead of just let's just get this listed. And as long as you're making, my meeting my criteria for what I want to sell it for, if it sells, great. And then if it doesn't, we can adjust from there, So do you go back into listings if you've had them for a while? Are you going back in and making adjustments if they're not selling?
I did when I from my listings from over a year ago, because the pictures were bad, the titles were bad, the structure wasn't good, the item specifics were wrong. And I went back and, ended all those, repictured them, just treat them like new listings. But for now that I have everything in a good order, I don't go back and look at it all anymore, because, the time that I spend doing that, I can get 3, 4, 5 more lists. If I spend, half an hour just trying to tinker stuff or change the prices or end and relist, then I wasted time doing that, where I could have listed 5, 10 new items that's going to grow my store. And then I just do aggressive markdown sales too. So, if anything's over 180 days old, I usually do 40-50% off just to get it going. If I profit $1 on it, who cares? So I get my money back $1, and then I can reinvest that money to buy better products.
How often do you do your markdown sales? Because I know that's something I try to do. Like, do you find a certain percentage to be good? Do you find a certain time of the week good for markdown?
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to test that out a little bit more random. Like yesterday, last few days, I didn't really do much of a sale, and I wanted to see if I can, sell some more items full price. And I got full price for a few items, but my sales were down those 2 days. And then today, or last night, I started a markdown sale, and then I already, sold more this morning than I did yesterday and the day before. I just do it random and just see how the sales are going. This last week was probably my best week ever, so I just was getting more aggressive so I can sell more. And I sold like 38 items on Friday, 35 on Saturday, and 30 on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, I was slow, so I'm going back at it. So I don't want to store items. I have 2 storage units. I have a lot of room, but I could probably get up to 10,000 items, which I think that'll be my goal. Yeah, I'm just space is the biggest thing I'm worried about. So that's why I just want to move items as quick as possible. Because I got really lucky. I got 2 storage units next to it. I got one, was the smaller one, and I filled it up, and I was on a list for 6 months. And then some company bought out all the places in my town, and somehow after 6 months, I got the unit right next to me. I got really lucky, so I just opened up both doors and pack and ship in one of them, and I'm starting to fill that one up too now. So not all the way, but close.
So when you are trying to move old inventory, what is your strategy? Do you end the listing and then sell similar? Because I know that's, some people will just choose to end all of them and then just relist them and not do anything, and they think that somehow helps the algorithm. What have you seen with your store?
Yeah, I've had, watch, like when I first watched a lot of YouTube, a lot of people said to do that. And then there's still, I think, some sellers I talk to that do that all the time. They'll end their whole store and relist, but they don't list every single day. So their store is getting smaller all the time. And I don't do it. I don't think it's worth it. I guess there was a new update that came out that eBay said that if you end and relist the item, that it will give it like a new start. So if that's true, that's good, because I'll start doing it then. Whatever helps, I've been trying a lot of things, and then I just noticed that for me, it doesn't work. But like I said, doing markdown sales that are aggressive seem to do better, because a lot of old stuff that, I might have overpriced a long time ago. I didn't see it. or, I missed something and people aren't, like, I was in the wrong category. I had a shirt that was amazing. It was when I first started, but it was a college shirt and I put it in like regular clothing. So no one ever saw it. It was in the college category, the NCAA one. And then once I fixed that, then why not? So I would recommend, fix your old listings, go through them. And if they look bad, the pictures are bad, the title's bad, then do that. That's going to help you a lot. So that would be like a brand new listing. But just ending and relisting, I don't think that works well. But it might now after the new update. But I don't know if it's in effect yet or not. At eBay, it always seems to take a little bit of time.
Have you done any auction listings? Because that's something I actually tried. I did 30 auction listings on old items and tried to change as much as I could, and I only sold 8.
I've been messing with that too lately because it's like, well, am I going to do with this stuff? It's been sitting over a year, which isn't terrible, I guess, but I just want to try to move it fast. Nothing. Even I started auctions at $3.99, nothing. 99 cents, nothing. So then I ended them, relisted them. I kind of changed the titles around a little bit. I didn't change the photos, but then I was a little bit not as aggressive on the prices, like marked it below average. And I sold like 5 or 6 items. I was like, I can't believe this. I had this for auction for 99 cents. Nobody bought it. And now they just paid $14 for it. So the auctions don't seem to work well for me, at least for clothing. And I think it's more for collectibles and desirable items. Like I've seen people do auctions and, start at 99 cents and it sells for $300-$400 with 60 bids. It's like, my gosh, it's insane. But no, it doesn't work for me.
Me either. I think it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. I'd rather just relist it as sell similar and change something about it and make the listing better. Do you ever take items like off and just try to garage sale or donate them? Like what's your like bottom time frame? Because I know we have some listings that are more than a year old and I'm like, do we keep them on? Like what else can we do to get it to sell?
Yeah, so I haven't done any of that yet. I've been thinking yesterday, this is kind of funny. Yesterday for the first time I printed out a list of all my inventory. And then I went through it and I just went through the first row and I had 20 some items that weren't even listed in my store. And I was only out of probably like maybe a couple hundred items. I wonder if it was for me back in the day, ending items and relisting and then never, I missed them. So it's been sitting in my inventory for a year now, not doing anything. And then I found 3 items too that were listed that were in my inventory. So it's, I think when the end and relisting is a little scary too, because you'll miss stuff. For the auction thing, one more too, I was going to say, I was trying 1-day auctions, just paying the dollar on it because I thought, well, it's going to end soon. So many people will see it. That didn't work either. Even like Patagonia jackets, I just wanted to move some stuff quick that was bulkier and nothing. And then I relisted it again and it sold for more than I had it for auction house. So auctions are no go.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus. Unless you, like you said, have a collectible that people are going to be excited and keep bidding. Out of the how many items we sold, 8 of 30, and we profited $17.17.
Yeah.
It was like $2 an item.
If you live like in a busy area, then I think garage sale is probably your best bet. And if it doesn't sell there, then maybe bulk it, see if some other reseller will buy it, kind of pawn it off on them. or just take it out and donate it.
I wanted to ask really quickly, going back to how you list your items. I think a lot of people have trouble getting distracted while they're listing. So when do you list in the morning, throughout the day? Like what's your setup look like? What do you do? Do you close yourself into a room? Are you listening to music? How do you stay focused on listing? I think you said earlier your number was like 35 a day or so.
Yeah, 35. Yeah. So I'll go into my room because I photograph usually everything in one day. I don't know if that's good or not because then I'll forget sometimes, if there's a flaw or anything like that. But when I see the picture, I'll see it. Usually I photograph everything in one day for the whole week or for 4 or 5 days. So then I have, a bag of 10 button downs, a bag of 10 jeans, a bag of 10 of this. So then I'll grab what I want to list that day, sit in the room, put in a little bit of music or maybe like a movie or something like that I've seen 100 times, my other monitor, and then just get a pile going and turn my phone off, put it away. Because that's the biggest distraction with the phone. I see something light up, I get a message, and then I waste 10 minutes there, 12 minutes there, 15, whatever it is. And then that's just, so phone goes away, it's on silent. I'll do, like I said, 10 at a time, get it done. And then 10 at a time, get it done. Do another 10, get it done. And then I'll, sometimes if it's something I haven't listed in a while, I'll grab 5 shoes or something like that. Because I don't list a lot of shoes, so I don't sell a lot. So then I'll do some shoes because I have bags of shoes I haven't got to yet in my garage. To get through the listing thing, I think it's a lot of distraction. You got to have the discipline just to sit there and get it done. Don't check Instagram, don't check your Facebook, don't check your email, because you start one thing and then you're checking 10 other things, and then half an hour went by. I was breaking it up a little bit, so I try to get up earlier. I want to get up earlier and earlier every day to get everything. I want to be done by 10, 11 o'clock and start doing other things, because sometimes I feel like eBay can take all day, and it's 10:30 at night. I'm still doing a couple listings. It's like, what have I done all day? Why did I waste so much time? I want to be way more efficient. I need to get more organized and more efficient, because I want to start going to 50 items a day, and then who knows from there. So
what strategies are you going to implement to up your listings from, 35 a day to 50 a day?
First thing is waking up early in the morning, because I have, I'm more motivated, so I can get up earlier. Then the world's kind of quiet, not many people are going to distract you. My grandpa's sleeping, market's not open, nothing to do really. So I think waking up will be better. And then other than that, I think that's going to help me the most. I always have stuff to list. I already have everything photographed for the week. I think that's the thing. It's having the patience and discipline to sit at your computer for how many hours and get it done. Because, this is, my main business. I need to get this done. I can't say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it day after. I don't do it today. I think my eBay store hurts. I try to list every single day. Well, I do almost list there's like always one day a month or something like that, 1 or 2 days where I just, I'm not up for it. And I already noticed the next 2-3 days, my store is not as active as it was before. eBay is the same thing. You need to feed that beast every single day. Yeah.
So you definitely see a direct correlation between the amount that you're listing consistently and sales in your store.
Yeah. I think I did like 10 days straight of 35. And then this week was the best week I ever had in the sales. Even on Sunday, I didn't list anything. I wasn't feeling too good Sunday morning. So, didn't list, and the sales were still there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think for sure being listing every day and just having that discipline and the consistency. I think the biggest key is consistency.
I have a question. What does your photo setup look like?
So I have like a gray rug that I bought from, I think, Home Depot for like $15-20, and then just lay it across the bed, 2 lights, very basic, nothing too crazy. I mean, like if I get into a warehouse, I'll build something better, like like a hang system, like a not totally flat, but on an angle. But for now, it works well. I got a pile of clothes next to me, all of my categories, throw it in there, 10 at a time, boom, done. And then turn the lights off, put everything away. Easier, the less steps, the faster it's going to be. I mean, you don't have to have amazing photos. You don't have to edit them. As long as people can see the detail, the color. Then and I do 12 pictures. So, and it's hard sometimes even to get 12 pictures of an item, especially if there's nothing wrong with it when it's pretty basic. But I think I saw someone say now like eBay wants to even go to 24 photos. And it's like, how are you going to fill that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like if you're listening and you're brand new to reselling, you see people with all different types of setups, especially for photographing. And I think a lot of people get overwhelmed because they feel like they need to have white background. They need to have the photo drop, invest all this money into photos. I know eBay prefers white background. I actually prefer a non-white background. I think it makes the item look way better. Like we sell a lot of golf clubs, and Casey has this mat that's a fake grass, and it makes the clubs look so good.
Yeah, I had the white background too. I didn't like it. It didn't look good. And then I went to gray. I noticed a lot of people using gray. There's a guy in Florida, Tech and Sports, and he has the biggest used clothing store, and he said that he just uses like 4 bins, stacks of bins, lays like whatever his background is on it, and then takes pictures. A lot of people waste a lot of time with that photo, not Photoshop, but the photo room, I think, and it's not worth it. I think it makes it look bad. Cut out the background. I tried using that when eBay first brought it in, and just looked goofy.
Well, it cut off some of the picture. It's like it cut off a sleeve or something. Like
wood panels, like wood flooring at Home Depot, or I think Lowe's, whatever one the place was, and I just built a little box, and then that's how I do my shoes. I put on a little Lazy Susan and just rotate it, take the pictures, and go. People buy. They don't care about your background. They don't care about your setup. They don't care about anything. They just want that item.
How have you been able to grow your reselling business over the last few years? What have you done specifically that you think has been definitely key in growing?
Well, consistency for sure. I think last July is when I started listing every single day, because I would list 23 items in one day and then not list for 3-4 days. So then I was actually looking at my data from last year at this time, and then today for this week. I started listing consistently last July, and then I think last September I was selling like 5 to 10 items a day. and now I'm averaging 20 to 25 a day. So just that growth in 1 year, I'm over 125% right now for the whole year from last year. So I think I can next year double that too, and then I'll probably hit like a wall. So, but consistency for sure, having like a good schedule. I have like a trouble sometimes putting stuff away. So then I'll list for 3-4 days and I have 10 IKEA bags full of clothing next to me. Then I waste hours, going through it and then putting it into the boxes again. So having a strict schedule and consistent and putting stuff away. And also helped is that I have 2 guys that will source for me. That is a big time saver for me because I live in the middle of northern Michigan. So I have 2 thrift stores north of me. That's over half an hour. I have 3 west of me and then 2 south of me. That's all. So if I want to hit all those stores in one day, it's over 200 miles to drive. So I'm wasting a whole day, and I don't even know if I'm going to get 100 items that day because the thrifts here, I don't have any competition, which is nice either. I have one lady, I think, but she's small time. But I see, sometimes these stores will have the same item for 6-7 months. So that's the problem, is that getting the inventory. That's what's going to stop me from, I think, growing. So that's why I'm trying to find people out there to source for me, making connections through Reddit and Instagram and stuff like that.
So how did you find these people that source for you? Like, what was the process?
It was open and threw information out there. I made a post on Reddit actually, and most of the people were making fun of me, saying, "Oh, that's never going to work. Why would they do work? Why would they, sell to you when they can do it themselves?" And I go, well, I think a lot of resellers have a problem of not listing consistently, and they love the shop, but they don't like the list. So they have rooms full of clothing that they'll never get to, and they'll eventually probably just donate. So, and I had a few people reach out to me, and I just needed a little interview process with some of them. And the one guy was in Ohio, he was close, and so it cost, I paid for the shipping too, so that was a lot cheaper. And the other guy, he goes, "I don't want to resell anymore. I want to start doing like wholesale stuff." So far, I mean, I'm not going to get Patagonia jackets and all this high end stuff, but I get that, bread and butter stuff that fills the store up. I tell them, I guess, give me button downs and polos and college t-shirts and stuff like that, vintage or whatever you can find. So, and I get shipments every day, and it works. And that's, like I said, it's the biggest time saver for me. I don't have to worry about stressing out that I'm not going to have inventory this week because the thrift stores were dry.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think it's something that Casey and I would really enjoy because we do love going out and sourcing, and it's just the listing part where we're like, oh man, this is a bummer. So I can see how that kind of business model would work. I would actually be interested in going out and just sourcing and buying a bunch of product and then selling wholesale lots. I mean, to me, that is something I would like doing. So I can see how that works. And it's great for you because it sounds like you're just in an area of Michigan where it is hard to get all that inventory. So when you are in those areas, you do have to be creative with where you find inventory. That's why reselling is great, because what works for you might not work for me, and what works for Ashley might not work for us. So that's the best thing about reselling, I feel.
Yeah, it's crazy looking at all these other big accounts like that. And there's a guy, I think one of the Dakotas, that sells only electronics, and he sells thousands of dollars a day of electronics. It's insane how much money he makes. He gets these for like $5-10 a day. It took me like a couple months when I first started just to find one of those DVD VCR combos, and he's finding 10-15 a day. It's like, my gosh, if I had like bins next to me, I think I would get out of reselling too. If I had like a source next to me where I can just do wholesale to people, I think you can make the most money that way. You don't have to worry about listing. All you gotta do is get the product, pack it, ship it. I would do that in a heartbeat.
For people who are listening who are new to reselling, what is the most important thing that a reseller should know before getting into reselling?
I don't know. I mean, make a schedule. Don't start off big, especially if you have a job. Do it part-time. Have a goal if you want to pay off your car debt or your mortgage and stuff like that. Create a goal and then start small. Do the research. Go in, like even when I started, going up your phone, look at everything. Go into the thrift stores, into the bins, whatever you want. Be picky. Don't just grab everything to sell, because if you grab those lower end items, they're going to sit there. And I think the items that do sit in your store for a long time, eBay stopped, because I don't really listen on eBay, but there's so many other platforms. But I do believe those platforms will stop traffic going to your store if it's not selling, because why are they going to spend money on an item that's not going to sell? So they're going to reduce your traffic. So I would be picky. I would set, check your information, check your data, have a goal. If you can buy something for $5, try to sell it for an average sale price of $25, $30. Set a goal of making $10, $15 profit. Don't buy less items. And then if you want to start going full time, then you can start getting to the cheap items like I do, because I need that stuff to fill my store out. But if I would have to restart, I would even do everything. I'll be an everything seller, keep a small store of high-end items if I can find that, and then just list consistently every day. If you're doing 5 a day, great, 5 a day, because eventually you get to the point where you're going to sell 5 a day. Your store's not going to grow anymore. And then you can start moving to 10 a day. So once I'm at 35 right now. If I can get to 30 sales a day consistently, then I think I'll start going to 50. I don't want to grow too fast either, because I'm spending almost $200 on inventory every day. That stuff adds up quick. Have a budget. Yeah, definitely budget everything out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know that you said before you're flipping right now, like a lot of bread and butter stuff, and that's what keeps the lights on. But do you have like a favorite item that you've ever flipped, something that really stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really sold anything too high end. I had a purse I sold for like $400 that was damaged, but I didn't know anything about it. I had it listed for $7. That's the thing. That's the time I kill a lot of time on things I don't know about. So I waste the time being researched. Even shoes I got the other day, high-end shoes from a guy. I listed them for like $800, but there's the prices are all over the place, and I wasted a lot of time researching that. But I think my favorite sale is actually a loss. It was actually like a $30-40 loss. I was at a thrift store and I found a vintage Burton snowboard from the early 90s and got it for $10. And I knew it wasn't in good shape. I thought the guy maybe would just want it to like hang on the wall or something like that. And I sold it to him for $400. And I was like, man, that was awesome. I kind of wanted to keep it for myself. The first item I ever wanted to keep for myself. And then the guy goes, yeah, the base is kind of cracked. You can't use it. And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry about that. You can return it if you want. And then I accepted the return, and then he never shipped it back because I already refunded him right away. But then, so I lost the money on the shipping and then the cost of it. But still, it was my favorite sale because it was something that I enjoyed, even though I lost money on it. And I was like, man, and I haven't found anything like that ever since. It was like one of those really unique items that I'll probably maybe see a few times in my lifetime, because everything I sell, I don't care about it. I'm going to see that stuff 100 times over. I'm going to see thousands of Ralph Lauren polos in my life and thousands of other brands and J. Crew and all that junk.
Yeah, that's certainly a memorable flip. That'll stick with you forever, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been your biggest success in your business so far?
Just growing it, how fast it grew, as I couldn't believe it, and that I can support family members and myself off of it. I never thought I would get to this big. I remember watching these YouTubers and like, my gosh, they have 500 items in their store. That's insane. I'll never get to that. And then just blew it right past that. And it's hard, but it's easy. I don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about things. And like you said, you like shopping. I hate the shopping part. I like the listing part. I sit here, relax. I don't have anybody bothering me. I get clear. I just kind of zone out and get to work. The shopping part is stressful for me and I don't like it. But yeah, just being able to grow the business so fast just blew my mind. I never thought it would be that quick or get to this point, actually. Never think I'd have two storage units and then possibly even get into a warehouse, hopefully in the next year or so.
Yeah,
so
that's a great answer. And I think you are the perfect example of consistency in building in a smart way. I mean, you've done this virtually all by yourself. Now you have some people that help you source, but I mean, at the beginning, it was all you. You've done this all by yourself, and you've just done it in a way that you're going to be able to keep growing, and you're not growing too fast, but you're growing consistently. And that, I think, that is just like the word that sums up you and your business so perfectly.
Yeah, I think one thing that helped too is learning from my mistakes, but learning from other people's mistakes. I've seen a lot of guys that, hire 3-4 employees and buy hundreds of items and start listing from like 30, 20 items to 100. And then they're overwhelmed because they can't keep up with the sales. They can't pack everything. There's not enough time in the day. Learning from other people's mistakes has definitely helped a lot.
Absolutely. All right. So we have one last question for you, Ronnie. If you could give our fellow resellers one piece of advice on how they can turn their paycheck into a day check, what would it be?
One piece of advice, huh? It's the same thing I think I've been saying like all the time is that consistency. It's work. It's not fun. You have to do it every day. I guess it depends on what you're doing too. If you're full-time, then especially full-timer, part-timer, you can take it easy a little bit. But yeah, just do the research, study, put in the work, have the discipline and consistency. I think everybody I talk to, it's just, hey, I sourced 100 items today, but I haven't listed in 3 days. I did this. Like, why are you doing that? You're just wasting time. You're wasting money. You need to list. If you have a death pile, it's a death pile. It's not a money pile. List it.
Absolutely. We so appreciate you taking the time out of your day and away from your listing.
I know. I only got 17 done today so far.
Oh, no. Well, we're going to let you get right back to it. But thank you so much for coming on and giving our audience some tips on staying consistent and listing on eBay. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Paycheck to Daycheck Reselling Podcast.
Anything we mentioned in this episode will be linked down below in the show notes or description down below.
Be sure to share this episode with anyone you think it will help and follow us on social media at P2D Podcast.
Thanks again for listening. Keep working towards that day check.